We are actually live. All right. So, what we're doing today, I don't know. I don't know what we're doing. Actually, I do know what we're doing. So, what I'm doing is this right here. So, oh, it's telling me I need to go to bed, but I'm not going to go to bed because, yeah, that's just not what's going to happen today. What I'm doing today is actually something much, much more fun. I'm going to be basically relighting this photo shoot that I did about 3 or 4 weeks ago. So this is an ongoing part of a photo shoot that I did, and the photo shoot is Red Riding Hood with this awesome 10-year-old model. She did fantastic, and basically what I'm kind of doing is this is just kind of a sneak preview of what's to come. So this photo shoot was a part of something that was much larger. It was just supposed to be like a fun little photo shoot just to kind of get my mind off of things, and it turned into let's create this 3D werewolf monster and embed it in this crazy world that I'm going to create. And that's kind of what happened. So I made this neat sorry, I'm like sharing the stream here. There we go. But yeah, so basically what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be adding fire to the torch here. I'm going to be adding some what's called relighting and relighting the entire area. It's going to be completely dark. It's also going to be, so it's going to be just kind of cool. It's going to be hazy. We're going to add smoke. We're going to add light rims around her entire face, her body, and just completely make it look like day to night with these cool relighting torch effects. I'll also be going over the way I like to do skin retouching. She had a great makeup job on that day. We're just going to be touching up some things that I don't like and I don't like to see, and then we'll be just kind of going from there. But I hope you enjoy the stream, and if you have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to put it in the comments, and we'll just kind of go from there. So I hope you enjoy it. I'm also using a Huion pen tablet. If you wanted to know, normally I'd use a mouse, but I'm trying to get more into the pen tablet game. Let's call this retouch. Turn that off. And just go in and retouch. Bloop, 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 bloop. Get this hair out of here. That is not what I want. That's not as good. I need to do this then. There we go. And if anybody's wondering, I'm actually not, I mean, I wouldn't consider myself a professional photographer or anything like that. I'm actually a filmmaker, VFX artist. So doing multiple images at a time is kind of like my normal, I guess you would say. So doing one image at a time is something that is, I guess, oh, I don't know, what would you call it? It's more like meditative. Normally I'd be listening to music or something like that. Lately I've been listening to a lot of Daft Punk. Also, whenever I work, I actually tend mostly to listen to like video game music, because I was listening to a podcast by another fellow artist, and he said that kind of the psyche behind his work is stuff that keeps him focused and on the job is video game music. And one of the reasons why he likes listening to video game music, because if you think about it, video game music is made to keep you in the game. So what if you use that video game music to, instead of keep you in the game, keep you into the art or practice that you're doing? And so I started doing that a while ago, and I kind of never stopped, because it truly is probably one of the best things that I could possibly do in my workflow is listen to video game music, because it kind of keeps you focused. I personally like Legend of Zelda music just because it's just an amazing orchestral soundtrack. Anything by Nintendo put into an orchestra form is just spot on amazing. I have 3 viewers. Welcome to my stream, everybody. It looks like I'm streaming now for a little bit. I need to find some royalty-free music if I want to keep doing this. I remember at one point, whenever I was doing VFX Live, I would have royalty-free music going. And then the all-so-happy YouTube police caught on to me and said, "You need to do this, blah, blah, blah. You've got 10,000 viewers. You can't be streaming royalty-free music to your blah, blah, blah. You don't know if you're going to get content ID'd, blah, 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 blah." So I stopped. Yep. YouTube is starting to suck. But, hey, it is where we are. If you have questions about what I'm doing, please feel free to put it into the comment section, and I will answer them. I do not mind giving away my secrets. They're not secrets. There's a billion ways to do the same thing in Photoshop. It is just one of many ways to do a multitude of tasks. Nope. 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 I don't normally do this much skin work, but I like to be blemish free. Personally, I like to keep the image almost close to original, but since I'm doing more of an art piece, I'm kind of overdoing it for what I normally would do. Is because one of the things that I will be doing with this photo shoot is I'll be sending it to 4chan and Kotaku and a bunch of internet websites and some award things, and hopefully win some stuff. I think what we've done, I mean, it's not like it's never been done. Basically, we just created I mean, it's just an art piece, but I think it's pretty cool. And hopefully by the time I get the skin retouched down, it will be... I'm only probably going to be on here for about an hour. I got to sleep eventually. My alarm already went off that says I need to go to bed because I have to wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning every morning. And this is usually the only time I have free and available to really do much of anything. That just made things way worse. There we go. Fine, I'm okay with that. This is where things get a little weird. Let's spend a lot of time on it. Hands I'm not really too crazy about, as long as I get it to a place where things are clean, not really too distracting. Fingernails. Oop. That actually worked out in the benefit. So I'll actually be coming back in and adding a ton of this texture back once I smooth out all the skin. So right now I'm just getting rid of blemishes, happy little blemishes on the skin. I'll be smoothing it out and then adding the roughness back. That way I can put an entire color over the entire thing. Just giving it a little bit better tone, more warmth, and more evenness to even out all the shadows throughout. My dogs are mad at me. They're in the other room with my children all sulking because I'm not paying attention to them right now. Actually bought a brand new Husky. Oh, it's been a while since I saw you on YouTube. Oh yeah, hey KVX, how you doing? Yeah, it's been a minute. I've been really busy. I got a job. That's what happened. I got a job and a family. Take up most of my time, but now I've gotten some free time back, and I'm working on new things. I'm doing more VFX. I'm doing 3D work. I'm doing motion graphics. I'm doing a bit of everything, and this is just something kind of a passion project I decided I wanted to do one day. It started out as, hey, I have a camera, let's do a photo shoot, and the monster continued to grow. So now we are here, indulging the monster. And I hate this pen tablet. This is don't buy a Huion pen tablet. They are awful because the thing keeps having to recalibrate on me. Ugh. I hope I don't have to recalibrate on this stream. That's just embarrassing. Yeah, I'm also trying to restart the YouTube channel. So I started the YouTube channel as an individual artist who wanted to do or learn After Effects, and by the time I actually ended up learning After Effects, I got so good at it, people wanted to hire me to do After Effects, and I no longer had time to think about fun After Effects projects. So I used to do mimicking VFX for like movies like The Matrix, and I think the most popular one was the Zombieland effect of running with text by you. I did all that stuff before really anybody was doing the whole movie thing. Kind of right alongside of, I guess, Video Copilot while they were doing their thing. And they kind of stopped too. Everybody kind of stopped. But here we are. We're in 2020 amid a pandemic. My dog is licking itself right behind me. Also, I got a new Husky, so that's always fun. I used to only have my one dog, Gizmo. Then I had Gizmo and Bentley. And now I just have Gizmo and now my new Husky, Midna. And if you're wondering where that name comes from, please put it in the comment section below if you know what that name is from. If anybody knows me, you know exactly what that name is from. Or if you follow any type of video game culture. You will know what that is from. And people probably think I'm crazy. Come on. Yep, did it again. I'm gonna have to recalibrate. There we go. There we go. Oh, I don't like using that one. I don't like clone stamp. Let's do healing brush. All right, I think we're good on that. So far we have successfully... my pen's dropping. You know, I'm buying a, what do they call it? An Elgato. So I can do these a little bit more fun, so you'll actually be able to see me rather than just see my screen. And I'll be using my Sony a7 II, which hopefully that'll be a little bit more fun of a live stream than just sitting here watching some guy meticulously paint. You know, sometimes those are the best streams, whenever you just watch somebody do something. I do need music though, so if you know where to get some really good royalty-free music, that would be killer. But one of the most meticulous things I like to do is just retouching the face, putting texture where there was not, and then kind of going from there. Boop. Come on. And it did it again. Boop. Boop. Come on. Boop. Yeah. Sweet. You get to see me recalibrate this thing. Mark area. Calibration. Boop. Seriously, guys, do not buy a Huion Canvas touchscreen monitor. This thing is legit the worst. You have to recalibrate the sucker like every 30 minutes. All right, so that deed is done. All right, so next thing what I'm going to do is I am going to make sure that my microphone is not in my face, which is happening now because it was just in my face. There we go. All right, so we're going to go through here. I'm going to duplicate this layer. So this is before and after. So not crazy, but I mean, there's some work that's been done. Things have been smoothed out. Got rid of some shadows. But ultimately what we're basically doing is creating a base for this to go on. We keep the retouch layer because we're going to use that as our color. So yeah, that's always fun. Use it as the color. So this says retouch copy. I'm going to change that to retouch color. And so I use a couple different methods to do my base color. I try to take a sample of the entire skin tone, which is usually done by just a Gaussian blur. But lately, I've been getting some pretty good results by doing Gaussian blur with a surface blur attached to it. And surface blur, you'll see, really evens out the tones in kind of a natural way. So if you take down the threshold, you'll see it kind of get blotchy, and I obviously don't want that, and this is what that looks like. It kind of gets blotchy around here. And obviously that's not what we want. We're going to push up that threshold, and that way it kind of pulls that and wraps the color around. If you can kind of bring that up as well. But I don't really like that. This is a bit too much. I really just want it to really just blend all of my skin tone together. So that's pretty good right there. And then I'm going to control I. Whoops, that's not what I wanted to do. That is absolutely not what I wanted to do. Control I will invert your layer, which I didn't want to do that yet. There we go. Let's put up that mask there. Now Control I. It's been a long time since I've done Photoshop. Thank you. All right, so now that we've done that, I'm going to select my white here. I'm going to check my phone for messages, which I'm pretty sure I more than likely have at least one missed message. No, nope, I don't. I am not the popular one. Bloop. All right. Anyway, this is happening. I have 2 viewers. Welcome to my stream. Thank you for being my 2 concurrent viewers. I'm going to turn on an advertisement for you. Welcome to my stream. Oh, God. All right, here we go. So basically what this does, I'm pushing, so I masked it out with black, and then after I put out the black, I need to push my flow back up to 100 because obviously I'm going to pull that down through opacity. I'm going to blend her into oblivion. It was a good game, by the way, Oblivion. I haven't played that in forever. I know you're probably thinking, what are you doing with the eyelashes? I'll fix it later. I wonder if, can you hear my dog in the background? My dog just sat down. I'm trying to teach her to sit and stay. She has sit down. She's only 6 months old. She's got sit down, and we're learning lay down. She's doing really good, but she's having a lot of trouble with stay. If you know anything about Huskies, please leave a comment in the comment section. Move that around. And if you're watching and you are a professional photo manipulator, I'm sorry for my lack of education whenever it comes to Photoshop. I like to say there's a million different ways to do the same thing. I know my very, very old school method, and I refuse to learn anything else. Not really. I actually followed, what's his name? Pix Imperfect. Really, really, really good YouTube channel for Photoshop stuff. Got a couple of hints from him. I really like what he does. There are some things I have a little bit of trouble with how he does things. Some of his stuff just takes a little bit too long. The methods that he uses, which is fine, but sometimes you just need a quick and dirty, get it done approach. And it might just be me. I mean, maybe if I was doing something that was more on the pro side, I don't know, maybe I'd be a little more adept to doing it that way. But I don't know. I like doing it this way. I like to feel like I'm painting. That's what it makes me feel like. It makes me feel like I'm painting on somebody or painting a picture and really just putting some art and ingenuity into it. I feel like I'm in high school again. That's going to be troublesome. That sucks. That's not going to be good. We're blending too much red, so we're going to have to fix that. Take some red out of our skin tone there. I want to keep this right here, so we'll go back over it with like this. My main thing is keeping all the lush tones. And you're probably thinking, my God, what are you doing to her face? And my answer to you is, I don't know. But I know the end result might look good. So we're just going to paint some happy little skin tone on here. That's what we're going to do. Happy little skin tone. What's cool is whenever I go back and do the texture of the skin, you'll see why I did it this way. And then you'll be like, oh, now I get why he's an idiot. This is going to be trouble, so I'm just going to go ahead and cancel this out. Blend that a little better because I know I'm going to have to blend that back. Didn't happen. Done. All right, moving on to the hand. There's a stick. There's the hand. I need to get better at my hotkeys. Hotkeys. How long have I been on? 31. All right. 31 minutes of talking to myself. Oh, and KV Productions. Hopefully he's still there. You got 2 people watching me. That's always fun. Why don't you say hi, whoever's watching? Don't be shy. You know you want to. Wonder if my good friend Daniel will come on. Old Quasar. Maybe he'll grace me with some music. I'm waiting for him to pop up. If you don't know my friend, Mr. Quasar. Like I said, there's probably a much better way of doing this. But this is the way I know. I honestly think this is the best way. And everyone out there who is a Photoshop pro is going, nope. There is a better way. Now I want to keep some of these creases just so we have some other texture in there that is more natural than what I'm going to create. I think the most fun part is whenever it gets to the relighting. That's where I have fun. The retouching of the skin is just a compulsory measure that I always do at the very beginning because it kind of you have to set up the image like that before you do any of the relighting, because the relighting is kind of like your final phase. Because if you relight and then you retouch, you're just lighting a place that has to be retouched again. So, and it just doesn't work that way. It's not a good idea. All right, there's that. I got a hand down here. Do I have a hand in the basket? Yeah, there it is. Now, I have a ton of better images for this, but I don't want to give away fun images. This is kind of a default image that I took that I was just kind of about it. That doesn't necessarily give away the whole shoot that I did, but it's still a good shoot. Yeah, okay, that's that. All right, so now we have a completely moon-faced child, and we're going to call that done. Finish. All right, welcome. Thank you for churning into my screen, my stream. I'm not ending it here. This looks awful. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this retouch layer. I'm going to duplicate that. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, if you're a pro, why are you doing this so destructively? Well, here's the reason why. I grew up in an age where Photoshop didn't have groups, and you had to do it destructively. So, yeah. All right, so this is my regular layer. I'm going to pop that right on top. I do still use groups, just not as often as I probably should. All right, so here's my solid layer. So I'm going to select fill, and I'm just going to bring this down just a touch. I'm going to bring in those natural tones back, and voila, we've got a decent looking skin tone there, but it's still pretty flat, I would have to say. So I need to bring some of those tones back. So let's go ahead and push our retouch layer here. I'm going to do retouch, texture, and real easy. You just select the high pass. So custom and high pass. And that brings in all of the love that you can possibly want in an image. Basically, this just finds all the little nooks and crannies and just brings them out to say hi. Hi, nooks and crannies. Welcome. Now we're going to blend this layer with either soft overlay, not so much. I'm really a big fan of the hard light and then bringing it and softening it down. I might try linear. No, it's really tough. The linear light is, not gonna lie, it's real tough. So I just want to look at what that looks like whenever I bring it down. It's not too terrible, but if you see right through here, it's just really big. So let's bring in soft. This is why I like the hard light. It still brings in that kind of larger look, but it's softer. It's just a bit softer. And I think I'd like it about at 45. Yeah, that's looking good. So there are some areas I want to fix. So I'm going to fix this. Hit some black. And just kind of bring that down. Let's ignore that. That never happened. Let's ignore some of this. What am I doing here? Oh, that's why. But yeah. All right. So now I'm going to set up some shadow layer here. Bloop. Take all of that away, and I'm basically going to do the exact same thing I just did, except I'm going to bring it in on this layer, and we're only going to see the happy little textures from our bottom layer here. Look how much more that is bringing out, and we're only going to selectively put it on things. Eyebrows, eyes, anything you want to truly bring out, this is where you're going to want to do that. I don't like doing it on the mouth because I think it makes people look bigger, and I don't like that. So I try to give it mostly on the face because there's so much texture around here that you got to kind of even that out just a smidgen. Go ahead and pull this back. Pull that in. Pull that in. Pull that texture back in. So that brings in some hair. That brings in just enough to this area. So we'll do before and after. Not a whole lot, but enough to give us a lot of accent power that just kind of pulls out this image just a smidgen. So that's looking good. I'm not going to focus on this area because that's weird for YouTube. If I'm doing a final image, I would focus on it just a little bit, but I'm not going to do that right now. Pull in this texture. You see it kind of pulls it those creases a bit. Gives a little bit of that texture back, but it keeps the color, and that's the thing I wanted, was to keep the color that blends. It blends the color rather than having a lot of splotchiness, because here's the before and after. Splotchiness, a lot of harsh shadows, and after everything's kind of toned down just more, and I just think it looks better that way. If you don't, cool, do it your way. This is the way I like doing it. I enjoy it this way. Plus, it's meditative because I get to sit here and paint on somebody. Doop, 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 doop. Another method I like to use is like, say if I got like, see down here, I've got a little bit of texture on there that I don't want. I'll pop in the flow and turn it down to like 10, bring it back to black. Just kind of pull that back out just a bit. Just a little bit. Soften it out. That's looking good. Okay, moving to the other hand. I think we're down here. There we go. All right, and there we go. All right, one of many steps down. Cool. All right, so before and after. Here we go. Before. After. Ta-da. That is a skin retouch. All right, now that we've got that, I'm going to bring all of this down into a happy group. Well, actually, no, I am not. There's still more things I got to do. Okay. Oh, should I do those now? Should I wait? I'm torn. Let's wait. Let's do that at the final image. Okay, yeah. Let's go ahead and pull these out into a group, and we're just going to call this Daylight, because that is exactly what it is. We're going to call it Daylight because this is the perfectly balanced image, perfect skin tones, well, at least the skin tones that I like. If you wanted to, you could go in here and fix her lips. I really don't care that too much. Actually, let's do her eyes real quick. Let's do... All right, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate that, merge those layers, and then I'm going to bring in a curves adjustment, pop this up. Do I want to use curves? Let's try some. Let's try something new. Let's delete that. Let's do hue sat. Hue sat. Do an underlying layer. Let's do. Just bring up the saturation of her eyes, and I'm only focusing on this area. I don't care about anything else but that. Let's bring up the light. Well, maybe bring in the dark. Let's bring up the sat. Take that, merge that down, and then put a curves adjustment on. Let's do destructive curves. Bring that up. Hit OK. Invert. Then we are going to paint our happy little selves away. So what I'm going to do, this is one of those methods that I learned from Pix Imperfect. It was a fantastic teach. So basically the way that eyes react to sunlight or any light whatsoever is it reacts what is that, rectospectively, is whatever they call. So basically it reacts as if you've got a light point here. So the way I have the lighting set up is it's coming down from up on top of her. So if the light is coming down, hitting the iris or pupil, that means the actual reverse is going to be lit. So what that looks like is basically, I'm going to pull my flow down to like 4 or 5. And I'm going to bring, I don't know if this is going to work. I might have to use my mouse. But bring this down really small, and I'm just going to paint lines. Yeah, there it goes. All right. So itty bitty small little lines. Let's see if this is working. A little bit. Let's bring up a little more flow. Maybe 10%. But the idea is to brighten down this area enough that it brings out the pupil. All right, so we got before, after, before, after. Go ahead and bring it over. Same way with this one. We've got the light here, so it's going to be pulling down here. All right, I'm going to deset this area because I don't need it. Deset this area, and up here, I don't need it. All right, so we have, here is our after, before, after, and just brings a little bit more pop. Not a lot, but a little bit more. So that's nice. And you can even, if you want a little bit more, you can add a dodge effect, or a screen effect, or an added effect. Ooh, that's kind of nice. Pull that fill down. Ooh, that's real nice right there like that. This kind of gives that little bit of extra pop to those eyes there. There we go. Just kind of brings you into the image. So from afar, notice that? It just pulls that image right back out. Okay, so we've got that. Is that all I want to do? What time is it? It is 12 o'clock. I am staying up late. I might do this a second time tomorrow. Who wants to see a part 2? Someone please leave me a comment because I am the only one here. Let's see here. What do I want to do? Okay, let's do, I want to add a little bit. Let's get to lighting. So this is our daylight. This is what our composed daylight image is going to be. This is what we will be working off of for the rest of the time. So I'll go ahead and duplicate this layer. I don't want to duplicate the group. I want to duplicate the entire thing. There we go. I'm going to call this night. Then I'm going to duplicate it again. And since I have fire, I'm going to duplicate, and that's going to be my fire level. And I'm going to duplicate it again. This is going to be fire, whoops, highlight. So basically it's going to be working off of a hierarchy. We've got daylight, nighttime. On top of that is going to be my fire color, fire highlight. So daylight, let's turn this night. Easiest way to turn day into night is through what's called color LUTs. So let's add a color LUT. So add our layer there, and we're going to go to color lookup. Pop our color lookup. The one that I like to use is Moonlight. It gives a little bit of extra blue in there, which I like. What is happening on her face? What is this? What happened here? What is this? Why is this here? What are you? Okay. We're gonna add this to our layer here since that is happening. So we'll put that in our daylight folder. Okay, fun. All right, that kind of pulled me through a loop there. Okay, so here's our color lookup. this will only react to the night. Here's our day, here's our night. So we can retrospectively, why do I keep using that word? I don't know why. But this way we can just react to everything on this layer through in a process of elimination. So I'm going to work on my highlights. So I'll turn that on, and I will take this, and I need to copy that because apparently that needs to be a part of the image on all of them. So I need to do that on all of them. Apparently, whatever. All right, so I need to put up a color lookup. Color lookup, load LUT. And my favorite for the color is the edgy amber. So I believe this has a really, really nice saturated golden look. I believe it looks like fire. I like to think it looks like fire. And this is what I'm going to be working on for my fire. So since this is a highlight, I'm going to need to make it react like a highlight. So since it's a highlight, I don't need it to add color. I needed to add color and light. So in order to do that, we need to put a curves adjustment on there. And we need to pop this up just a smidgen to where it's almost blowing out the image, but not quite. So here's before, after, there's that, or before, after. Just brings a little bit more light on these shadows. It pulls all that shadow back. So I'm going to turn that layer off, click it, I'm going to add the mask, invert it. And now I can do what is literally my favorite part of this entire image process. It is meditative, it is amazing, and that is to paint. Like, we're literally painting. You get to use your imagination and put light where you want it. So hopefully my canvas is going to be working properly this time. Let's double check and make sure. Yay, it is. All right, so first off, what you need to do whenever you're doing this is you need to look at your image as a whole. So where I have light sources, I have two. I've got two light sources that I'm working off of. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be adding a light here. So I've got one source, so this would react right here directly on her face. So I would have a highlight right here across her cheek. I'd have highlights in the hair. I'd have highlights right here, here, and maybe a little bit. So it would go really intense highlights and work its way down, medium highlights, more intense highlights, and then divvy off down here. So it won't be harsh all the way through. It'll be hard here, and we get softer as it goes down because of the way the light works. I would also put it on the nose and on the mouth. The other light source that I have is from the background. So you got to think of moonlight. My images so far have the moon actually directly behind her. So since I have that in my mind, I need to make sure I create some type of blue that is going to kind of color her on the back end here and bring in a little bit of blue hue just so we have it. And then I also am going to have to create actually another fire layer, which is going to pull in the walls. That way it looks like the thing is actually on fire and it's believable. So where do I want to start? I think I want to start on her face. So I'm going to start at 10%. Since this is a highlight, I'm going to start at a medium brush. I believe I'm all the way soft, yes, and please make fun of how I used that wordage. I am ultimately soft. Yes, you can make fun of me now. All right, so where we're going to put this, we're going to add this right through here. Right like that. And I actually undo this real quick. I want to take off my pen pressure. I do not want pen pressure. I do, however, want to paint this in a way that sculpts. So I need to put a little here. I'll put a little on the brow because it's raised. Put a little right through here. Right here. Right like that. This. That, not like that. Little strokes go a long way on this one. Just itty bitty strokes. Take this a long way. There's that. Now I'm just doing a broad canvassing of what this should look like. This isn't going to be what it finally looks like by any means. A little bit down here. Put a little underneath just to give a little bit of separation. All right, so there's kind of what my face will look like. About right there. Right there. Okay. All right, now let's work on the hair. So I know I'm going to want a lot of highlight on the hair just because hair highlights way cleaner than skin does because it is more reflective. Like this, pull that down like that. I try to go with the grain of the hair, and I think I'm actually going to put on my pen pressure just so I can get like individual strands, give it some more texture. So there's going to be lights and darks throughout. So it'll just give me a little bit of deviation in the texture and the color of the hair strands. That, bring in some more hair strands through here. I'm not trying to color all of it because in lights and darks you're going to get a lot of, well, in fire you got to think, if there's a fire going, does it light the entire thing? Yes and no, but there's also a lot of movement in the light, so you'll have a lot of light areas, a lot of dark areas, a lot of orange areas, a lot of blue areas, depending on what the light is and how you want it to move. Me, I wanted to give a kind of variation between the lights and the dark areas, which are going to be more blue. And whenever I add the color tone at the end, it's going to have actually a little bit more green in it to give it kind of more of a menacing kind of overall look. And obviously this is just highlights. This is nowhere even near the color. This is just the strong spots. This is just accenting individual areas. And again, this isn't done yet, so I'm still going to be working on that. But I want to go ahead and give the color in here. That way I don't have to work on multiple things at the same time. All right, I'm going to go ahead and do this. And this. Right there. Now, I know that's going to be, this whole thing is going to be highlight. but I'm going to go ahead and do this. All right, let's see here. What else do we need? The basket. Oh, we need to get this right here too. Go ahead. Now, I'm not going to lie, this is a much easier task with a pen. Not even kidding. Even if I do have a crappy pen, this is much easier with a pen because I can take it and do quick little brush strokes and it looks decent. All right, so there's that. Again, this is just straight highlights. I will go back and fix all of this. In fact, I might go ahead and do some of that. Let's focus on the basket. All right, let's go down here. Now, remember what I said about it's going to go from strong to a little bit darker. So there's going to be just a little less highlight as it goes down. I'm going to give a little bit of oomph. That was too much oomph. All right, and then I'm going to go get the hand here. Now, the one thing I don't like about doing any type of light adjustment on whites is this exact reason right here. You have to, this is why I do it this way. You have to use a, what do you call it? You have to use a daylight layer because this is obviously blue right now because we added the night. But whenever you add in the daylight, it evens all of this out. You have highlights, you have everything, and everything just looks kind of crisp and toned. But let's keep moving. So we're going to add this. Put that back there, and I'll fix that here in a little bit. Really should be doing this zoomed in all the way. I'm not doing myself justice here. Whoops, that was way too much. I have to blend that a little better. Remember, opposite ends get reflection too. So that's a fun thing you need to remember. Opposite also gets reflections because it's hitting here, it's also hitting right there. Got to think of it. This is the one cool thing that I love, the fact that I studied lighting in college and 3D aspects, is you get to know where light actually hits on things, how it hits, how things react to light. It's yeah, you get used to seeing it certain ways. There's that. I'll probably do that a little bit more. Give it a little bit of accent there. Okay, so there's that. Bring this down a bit. All right, so now I want to give this a little bit more. So bring that out, yeah, right there. Soften that up just a smidgen. That was not enough there. Soften that up a bit. Soften that up a little bit. Soften that up a bit. There, soften that up. This kind of looks awful right here. What was I thinking? All right. Probably gonna have to redo this one. She's got a glowing pail. All right, so we got light on there. There's probably light here. The invisible lights. So they're gonna be right through here. That seemed too much. Most of this is really acting as a guide until I properly do it. So zoomed out, that gives a little bit more accent on her. I need to put this, yeah, I need to give her some accent right through here. Let's do... there. She's going to be sparkly at the end of this. All right, there's some of this. That. Just a slight edge here. I would sometimes do that, but I'm not even going to worry about that right now. You get the drift. All right. Now let's add the highlights to the opposite side of her hair. We got some highlights here. I might end my journey at this because I've been going on for an hour and 11 minutes and I still don't have anybody in my comment section other than KV. But I do enjoy his presence whenever he does shine his face on this channel. So I appreciate your comment. I don't know why I'm not sleeping right now. I didn't sleep at all last night. All right, so this is kind of what we're working with. This is the absolute highlight. So since it's a little bit right here, I'm going to add a little bit here, a little bit here. Give a little bit of accent. Just accent those highs, those high points. I don't like that. All right, so here's our base of our highlight. That's what this kind of looks like in yeah, for the highlighted portion. Okay, so now we are going to shape. So how are we going to do that? We're going to remove. So it's as important to remove as it is to add highlighted areas. So we're just going to go ahead and color all this out. I use a soft tipped brush in order to just kind of color that out, working with a very light flow similar to what I started with, and just kind of work along the edges to where, because I do not want to add glow around here. I don't want to add glow onto the walls. That's for another layer. I'm just wanting to take away the glow that shouldn't be there, which is where the glow would be technically on the walls. So it's still here. I'm just making that, giving it a harsher edge so it blends into my layer. All right, so here's where you can kind of see that, I guess, in action. So I'm going to take all of this out. I'm actually going to select a hard tip brush here in just a second and get rid of all of this. So let's go flow 100. I'm just going to go through here. I'm just going to take off my pen pressure because I want to see the very fine edge of this and delete it everywhere I do not want it to be. And here's another reason why I love working with a pen, because you can get right up on that crease and on that edge where it might be a bit more difficult with a mouse.
also working on a tablet. So it's not like a Wacom Intuos tablet. I'm actually working on a screen. So I'm working as if I'm drawing on a picture of sorts. And hopefully whenever I get my Elgato, I'll hook it up and you'll be able to see what I'm doing and how I'm doing it. Yep, and here we are. Okay, there we go. One reason I hate this canvas, it's a love-hate relationship. I have a Huion canvas, and it was cheap. I got it on eBay, used. It's very, very similar to a Wacom, but the drivers just don't work that great. I have to keep like I push a button and I constantly have to recalibrate the tablet, and I hate it. I hate the fact that I have to do that. So if you were working for Huion, send me a better tablet. I would enjoy a better tablet. Kind of want a hard tip brush. So I'm just moving it. So I'm probably going to end it here in about 5 minutes, but I want to get a decent size of her face done. So I'm going to end up doing this hand here, and then I'm going to do a little portion of her face, and I'm going to leave the rest of it for tomorrow. But I want to show you, just in case anybody watches this off stream tomorrow and wants to comment on what's going on how I'm doing something, they can see why I'm doing it this way. Comment, give me money, give me a new give me a new Wacom, and then we can kind of start a dialogue from there. This obviously isn't a reason to get a new Wacom. I'm just picky, and I find little annoyances to be a great burden. And right now, all I'm doing is taking away. I'm not adding anything. I'm just taking away where I don't want the highlight to be. Not even worrying about blending right now at the moment. Just taking away. All right, so I'm going to take it away from here. Not going to worry about that too much. Not going to worry about that, but I am going to worry about this. So I'm zoomed in over 400%. So this picture was taken on a Sony A7 II, which has insanely notorious problems whenever it comes to the yellows and slight oranges. It still gives great skin tone. Do not believe I don't like the skin tone of a Sony, but any other yellows, it's just too pronounced. It's too out there. You can just tell whenever you shoot on a Sony that if it's anything other than the A7 IIIs, you're going to notice that Sony problem, which is the yellows, which is fine. I mean, some areas of the picture you're going to want those yellows, but some of it just looks too unnatural. I don't enjoy it. But that's why I shoot like this. Okay, so all we have done so far, I'll just focus in here on the hand. So if you look at this from afar, this is after, obviously, before. We're adding our highlights. Obviously, we're not done blending in this layer. These are just the harsh highlights. This isn't even adding any color. So this is our fire color layer. This is our highlight area. This is just our harsh highlights. Yeah, so that's let's do a little bit of the face, and I'm going to call it quits because it is an hour and 20 minutes into the stream, and I doubt anybody is going to get this far. But if you are, hello, welcome to my stream. Please subscribe. I won't hurt you. I'm going to take, all right, so what do I want to do here? So on these layers, I do want pin pressure. So I want to give plenty of separation from her and this layer. So I'm taking my flow down to about 9. I'm going to blend this area real quick. Give it a little bit more. There we go. That's just going to give a little bit of separation from that hair right there. I'm going to do a little bit of the same going through with my pressure down. Obviously, we shouldn't have a highlight in our eyeball. That would be not good. That would mean we probably can't see. Probably don't need any area here. Just want this small little highlight section. Whoops. Small little highlighted area right there. Dang it. There we go. Small little area right there. Small area right there. Right there. Whoops. Oh no, it's done it again. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there because I'm going to have to recalibrate. But anyway, so this is where we are tonight. Booshk. This isn't even halfway done. This is an hour and a half in. So what have we done? In conclusion, here's where we started. Blap. Okay? We started. We ended. Something's happening. Why is this working like this? Okay, my computer has absolutely gone haywire. Apparently it doesn't want to. Oh, that's why. I have this layer on. Okay, so here's where we started. This is where we ended. Excuse me. It's late. I haven't slept. All right, so end goal. We've got our night. We've added our highlights. We're just kind of taking away our highlights and putting in that high note. And right now we're just taking everything away. So everybody, thank you for watching. I'm going to stream again tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed this. Let's see, how many people did we have come onto the stream? 38 playbacks. Hey, with a total of average 3 minutes and 34 seconds. 3 minutes and 43 seconds. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Please like, please subscribe, please hit that fun notification bell. I enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay with me tomorrow. I'm going to try to stream a little earlier as long as my children fall asleep, and we'll finish this up tomorrow.